So I graduated high school this year, and as I look back on my time in high school and honestly in like my elementary school years as well, I can recall so many times where I was like different, okay? I was aside from everybody else who was doing all of these things, okay? I was not following the crowd, okay? I was doing my own thing. Like let's take for example, I mean, as you especially get on into your high school years, you see your friends that you might have grew up with, they start to do these things that you might not be okay with. Okay, I've never been a fan of drink. I've never had any alcohol. Never done any smoking of any kind. I mean, I just know. I take care of my body. I've always been so passionate about that, and that is just a value system that has been placed within me. And because I've been raised in a good Catholic family for the past 18 years of my life, so that's just a value that's been, instituted within me. I've never had to hang around it. So whenever I started seeing my friends do the opposite of what honestly like my values were, it brought a sense of fear within me, and it just made me want to distance myself even more because the party culture had come around, it had come upon them, and they became like engulfed in it, right? So that's one way. Another way is just, whenever you're in school, like whenever my high school, it was more of a college prep, if you will. Like everybody there, you were expected to go to college to get into a good institution, and that was how the high school had gained its reputation, was sending people to these good institutions. And it was a private school, and that's where I went to high school. So I went there, right? And once I had told the teachers what my plans were, because I have never been one to go to college. I had never been had any interest in college. I've always hated it. And I'm not saying it's bad for other people that go, but that's just my personal opinion. I've never liked the idea of college, more school. I've never been a school guy myself. So whenever I actually told them that I wanted to go into the so-called workforce because that was the only other option, they looked down upon me, right? And they had been mad, or they had looked upon me in a way that was it was like they knew that I wasn't doing what they were telling me to do, okay? Because it's not like they were forcing me to go to college. No, I mean, you can follow whatever path you want to, but that was what was expected because I went to a college prep school, right? So that was what was expected. And whenever I told them like, no, I don't want that. I want to go into the workforce. Every single, and like not one teacher was. I mean, they immediately stopped asking questions after that. They had no interest. Everybody was about college. And as I strived away from that, once I have graduated, okay, obviously I'm starting doing social media. I've got thousands of followers on my other accounts. Go follow them if you guys like to. But that's what I'm doing now, and I'm in the online business world. But it's all because I did not do, and I had a willpower within myself to just say no to literally everything that people were telling me. Okay, like even my own parents at times, whenever I told them of my plans, I wanted to become successful in online business, I wanted to grow my personal brand online. I don't want to go work a job. I don't like somebody telling me what to do, right? That's why I'm not working a job right now. That's why I'm in an online business. That's why I'm doing social media, okay? It's because I live on my own terms, okay? And that is one thing that I'm seeing more and more of now, especially in today's society over the past few years, especially in this generation, because I think a lot of people are just being tired of what to do, and it's a lot like me, okay? Because I had hated working. I've worked, of course, jobs. I used to work at a funeral home, okay, and that was essentially outside of my own detailing business that I ran with a couple other guys. That was the only time where had actually had a boss and work under somebody, and I hated it. I could not stand it. I couldn't stand the drama that was going on within the workplace, and I couldn't stand the people constantly telling me this and this. Working no ma- like Working as hard as I could, or working literally with the littlest amount of effort at all and still being paid the same. I was not going to settle for that, and that's whenever I figured out at the beginning of my high school years, whenever I started actually working, that the 9 to 5 college route was not for me. Okay. And it's very beneficial, I think, to have this mindset whenever you are going against what people are telling you, kind of this rebellious mindset, because it makes you like, from this I have gained so much, I have felt so much more in control of my life than ever. I mean, I control today. I control how much money I make today. I control how many followers I'm getting online. I control literally every single aspect of my life. Okay, it is all up to me. And that's one of the perks, I think, of not doing what you're told. And like I said, guys, I got criticized. Okay, I was being criticized, and that's something you'll see. Okay, whenever you do what you're told, whenever you follow what the world says, whenever you follow what society says, what culture says, whenever you do these things, you don't get any hate. You don't get to be criticized. Okay, um, it's like the easy way out, right? So I know I hate to um talk about a 9 to 5 like the easy way out, because I know there's some people out there that work hard. Okay, you might love a 9 to 5. That's great. Okay, I'm not shaming anybody who has a 9 to 5. This is just all my personal opinion. But whenever I look at these things, I believe that, okay, as 90% of people out of high school are going to college and getting a 9 to 5, I believe it is more of the easy way out. Okay, and I actually had my parents tell me the opposite. Uh, they have always they have always supported me in whatever I've done, and I'm very grateful for that. But before, whenever they didn't know what I wanted to do, they would really push that. Whenever I started to like bring forth ideas to them about an online business, they would be like, "No, like that's a scam. That's a lie. You don't know what you're talking about." And I remember this one very specific time where I had talked to my mom. This was whenever I was very much into Andrew Tate, and I still love the guy, right? But about a few years ago, I was very much into Andrew Tate, and I wanted to join his own university, as he likes to call it, the what was it, like Hustlers University, I think is what it was called. But I wanted to join it, and I went to my mom and asked if I could join it, and she's like, "Trey, your financial advisor is going to tell you that joining an online course is the most stupid decision you can make." And right then and there, that was a limiting belief that was installed into me, and that unfortunately is what I ended up believing for the next few years until I finally um grew up. But besides the point, with whenever my mom told me that, I also thought on the flip side, it's like, okay, well, financial advisor, whoever that guy is, I don't picture a financial advisor. I assume that's from a college job, right? And I, I assume that that guy's not driving a Lamborghini, is he? Is my financial advisor rolling around in a Ferrari? Does he own a house that's over $1 million? Is he living like a true person who would give money advice would? No, I don't think so. Okay, I've never seen a financial advisor move like that, have motion like that. No, absolutely not. So that's what kept me in the online business. That's what helped me break my own limiting beliefs, is whenever my parents or somebody would shoot me down on online business, like I said, my teachers would shoot me down as well. Um, but whenever I saw objections, whenever people told me I was being stupid, I looked at them and they had never tried. Okay, they'd never tried an online business. My family, everybody in my entire bloodline, they have never tried online business. Okay, I'm the first one. So whenever I hear somebody try to give me advice on something like that when they haven't even done it themselves, it's an immediate turnoff, and it motivated me to want to do it even more, right? And I think once you get to that point, I believe it's over. I think that you are going to become successful in online business, because whenever you have the adversity to keep going despite what everybody else is telling you, that is when you are actually going to make it. Um, but that's besides the point. My point was about a few minutes ago, whenever I was talking about, whenever you follow the world, whenever you follow what people are telling you, whenever you follow the culture, you don't get hate. You don't get criticized like I was, right? And I think at that point, if you're living your life, if you are outside of high school, you are starting to choose your own path, what you want to do with yourself, and you aren't getting some sort of hate from somebody, I believe you're doing something wrong, because the culture today has been so centered around this sinful nature of this degeneracy of these just sins and everything, just terrible stuff everywhere, right? Whenever you go online, you're dealing with the men who have lustful problems. Now you're dealing with people who this whole brain rot culture where people can't get off the phone, stop doom scrolling for 8 hours a day. And you, like I said, men dealing with lust, and people addicted to these TV shows like Love Island, which just promote this hookup culture, right? And that is just what our society is made of now. And if you're not getting hate from that society, you're doing something wrong. On the flip side, if after high school you want to go pursue something, you have something in your mind that you want to bring into the physical realm, and you finally take the steps, you take the action and finally start to do things. If you receive hate, if you are getting some sort of hate, some sort of um criticizing, that means you're probably doing something right, and you should probably stick with that, because the people you're pissing off are probably not the people you should be hanging around in the first place. And that's just my point, guys. Don't do what you're told, okay? Because you were going to end up finding out that what you're doing is actually the right thing, okay? Now, like I said, guys, if you want to go to college, if you feel like it is your will to go to college, then by all means, please go to college. Please get a 9 to 5. If that's what you want, go right ahead, all right? Do that, all right? Just whatever actually makes you fulfilled. But this is what I'm basing everything on, is that most people are miserable in their jobs. People don't like the fact of another work week. You hear it in song lyrics all the time. You hear it in movies and TV shows. People talk about another work week like it's hell. Okay? That's not any way you want to live your life, is it? I wouldn't think so. If spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on college just to settle for a job that pays you maybe 6 figures, and you being miserable every single day for the rest of your life, having to work that job that you don't want, and you knowing that you'll never actually be financially free, you won't ever be able to buy the things that you genuinely want. Sorry guys, I had an iPhone storage thing that I had to figure out, so I couldn't video anymore. But finishing my point, that does not sound fulfilling, okay? That life of being just miserable from your 9 to 5, it does not sound fulfilling, all right? So if you watch to the end of this video, please know, okay, please understand that not everything means doing what you're told. Not everything good means you have to do what you're told, right? Because like I said, you do not want to follow the things of this world. You want to make sure that you are not just completely hated by everybody, but if you're not receiving some sort of hate in some way, you're probably doing something wrong. So I appreciate you watching this video. God loves you, God blesses you, and I will see you guys in